Welcome, everyone, to the Fun Astrology and Merriman Market Analyst for the first Saturday in the new year. Thomas Miller here. Thank you so much for joining us. This, of course, the free weekly newsletter published every weekend from MMAcycles.com by financial analyst and astrologer Ray Merriman. And some pretty interesting astrology mixed into this week's newsletter as well. He says, whoa, that was one rocky end-of-the-year holiday sleigh ride for financial markets. But then again, when you have the long-term Jupiter-Saturn waxing square on December 24th, followed by the disruptive Venus-Uranus waning square on December 28th, it was not likely to follow the typical Santa Claus rally script that many analysts expected. In a twist of the usual bullish seasonal pattern, many global stock indices exhibited declines into primary cycle lows and double bottoms within just a couple of days of these aspects. At the end of last week, new life seemed to enter as markets rallied smartly. After all, when strong aspects involving Saturn coincide with depressed prices, most markets rally shortly after. In the Far East and Asia, a possible primary cycle low occurred on December 20th in the Australian ASX as the index dropped to its lowest price since early September and then began a rocky rally. The Indian Nifty index made a double bottom low and possible primary cycle on December 20th and 31st. The Hang Seng of Hong Kong also made double bottoms on December 14th and January 2nd. China's Shanghai Composite took a beating on January 3rd, falling to its lowest level since October 18th. Japan's Nikkei index was closed much of the time, but bucked the downward trend of the season with a rally above 40,000 on December 27th, its highest mark since July 18th. But that was under Venus square Uranus, when the Nikkei usually reverses within 4 trading days. In Europe, it was also erratic. After posting a new all-time high on December 13th, the German DAX fell hard into a possible primary cycle low on December 20th, just 2 trading days before Jupiter square Saturn. The Zurich SMI fell even harder on December 20th to its lowest level since May 3rd. The Netherlands AEX and London's FTSE also exhibited new multi-week lows on December 20th. Europe didn't do so well headed into the Christmas Eve Jupiter-Saturn square. In the Americas, Brazil's Bovespa index got hammered January 3rd, falling to its lowest level in over a year, but in the U.S. there were strong bullish triggers off lows that formed over the holidays. The S&P and Dow Jones Industrial Average both made possible primary cycle lows on December 20th, again just 2 trading days before Jupiter square Saturn. But the Nasdaq diverged, making its possible primary cycle low on January 2nd. All 3 markets were sharply up Friday, January 3rd. You have to love these intermarket bullish divergence signals when one of the markets in a region bottoms during a 3-star critical reversal date and a period when primary cycle lows are due, but the others hold declines in a double bottom chart formation. In other markets, silver posted a new 3-month low on December 19th with a double bottom on December 31st, while during the same period, gold held well above its primary cycle trough of November 14th for a case of intermarket bullish divergence. We like to see gold leading the way up in a new primary cycle after this type of signal from a geocosmic critical reversal zone. However, we now need to see gold continue its rally above 2761 to confirm that this is also a new 50-week cycle headed to new all-time highs. Bitcoin and Ethereum also appear to be exhibiting new life as of Friday, following Bitcoin's 15% decline from its all-time high of 108,379 on December 12th to a major cycle low of 91,262 on December 30th. Now we will see if it can make a new all-time high or just a secondary high in the next couple of weeks before falling to its primary cycle low, which is due at the end of this current major cycle phase. Crude oil is also enjoying a good run, rising to a high of $74.35 on Friday, January 3rd, its highest level since October 14th. And now the short-term geocosmics. Our last column 2 weeks ago stated, quote, "In terms of market behavior, Jupiter-Saturn waxing squares have a very high correlation to primary cycles, troughs or crests, usually within 1 week. Mark that as another hit and a positive sign for stock markets. However, concerns are remaining on the geocosmic front. We are still in the retrograde chaos period, where bullish and bearish technical signals can easily and quickly turn into fake-outs. The whipsaw period began November 25th through December 15th, first with Mercury turning retrograde. Next, this was followed by Mars going retrograde December 7th through 23rd, and Venus is doing its turnaround act from March 1st through April 12th. And before Venus turns direct, Mercury the trickster returns for an encore, another retrograde cycle from March 15th through April 7th. It's never easy and clear when personal planets are retrograde, and in this case, all three personal planets will be in retrograde motion back-to-back from November 25th, 2024 through April 12th, 2025. Think of this as 2 steps forward and then 2 steps back over and over again by one of your dance partners, but not in rhythm with you or the masses. Hence, there is the potential for many fake-out bullish and or bearish signals. Our rules for these retrogrades remain the same. Take profits quickly as a short-term trader. Don't marry your position unless you enjoy chaos. And some people do. Position traders don't, but aggressive short-term traders might. It's like we are all turning into Geminis, with Jupiter in Gemini, square Saturn in Pisces, still within the orb. It's a mutable dilemma. So this week may be notable given that 1. Mars just formed an opposition to Pluto January 3rd. We had terrorism and brutal attacks taking human lives. And 2nd, Mars retrograding back into Cancer January 6th through 17th. The last passage of Mars in Cancer was September 4th through November 4th, and it was quite bullish for gold. Now we see if it does the same when retrograde. On January 15th, Mars in Cancer will be opposed by the Sun in Capricorn, just 2 days after the full moon. This could be a particularly dangerous time, terrorism, but it could also indicate unusually harsh weather conditions, cold, threatening safety to people in northern climates. So what is one to do during this cosmic storm of retrograde personal planets? First of all, refrain from overtrading. Secondly, if you are familiar with options, consider writing calls on strong rallies against your underlying positions. And third, try not to be oversensitive or over-cynical and critical of others. Low-level emotional reactions will get you nowhere. It will only make you appear small-minded, creating unwanted reactions from others as they run from you rather than towards you. Mars is all about me. Mars in Cancer is all about me being needy of someone's time and attention who doesn't want to give it. If you want something, be independent and go for it. Don't depend upon the unwilling to do it for you. Don't drag your feet on required actions. If you do, as a trader during this time, you will miss the opportunities presented, at least short term. And if you are too late, you may be tempted to blame someone else for your missed opportunity. Be conscious not to do that. Be independent and alert, especially with the family and those you love. And finally, Happy New Year. It should be an interesting and exciting one, especially after mid-April. Until then, learn to find the opportunity in chaos. It's there. It may have just erupted in many financial markets discussed in this week's column, but the direction may be rocky. So knowing this, you can navigate accordingly. And what a great newsletter to start 2025 with, don't you agree? Couple of announcements. We have the MMA Forecast 2025 book now available in paperback, ebook, and audiobook, all on MMAcycles.com. I've said it so many times, this is like your Google map through 2025, 26, 27, it goes on. It is something you want to hear raise thoughts. That was just a little sample that we do weekly here. We've seen already 2025 is worthy of knowing what the big picture is. And if you'd like more of what you hear here, Gianni DiPoce does Wednesday evenings on YouTube from about 20 minutes or so per episode of the geocosmic signatures for the coming week and beyond. So catch that on YouTube every week on the MMA channel. Thank you guys so much for listening. Have a great rest of your weekend. See you back on Monday. Bye-bye.